They say time waits for no man, and if I wait to record a face intro to this video, it will never happen. So let's just dive in. Hello and welcome back to Rural Living and Innovation. I am Annelyn Goya, the host of this here podcast. I really hope you don't judge me, but this is the state of the office at the moment. I've been working in there, but it's been a mess. So like this month, I'm just like cleaning it up slowly. Like every day I focus on a specific section and I clean up. So I started with pouring the powders and waxes and the solid products that isn't liquid into like these bottles. At this point in time, I cannot afford to buy like glass packaging or plastic, whatever it is that I need to buy, I can't buy it. So I am recycling these bottles from home because my brother and his wife, they collect them as part of their project, and I used a few and the lids don't match and nobody cares. So while I was cleaning, I was packing up the powders, I realized actually there's no space. So this is something that I do often, where I use the boxes that I received packaging and products in as storage. So this is how I do it. I tape the sides down. It's better if I tape the sides inside and not outside. And then I just sew the sides. So this material I had to sew because it had a neck opening here. This fabric was bought by my sister and she intended to use it as a dress, or I don't know, something like a dress. So I didn't really want to like cut the fabric to size for the box because I don't know if she's going to want to use it again. This is not like a long-term solution also, so I don't want to just waste fabric that could be potentially used for something else. So I just sewed the opening and then I sewed it to fit the box, and I just like packed all of this is like the packaging equipment and shipping boxes. So this is the second box, and the second box I'm just doing differently. I am sewing the fabric onto the box. So it's really easy to thread cotton through the box. You just need a needle. I almost said a nail. You just need a needle, and it shouldn't be too small. It should be able to pierce through the cardboard. If I had more time, I'd double these actually. So I sewed these up and then I packed the boxes nicely, and then I moved it to the cosmetic kitchen. So don't judge the space. Like I've been moving in like slowly, and I think part of the problem was that I had a toilet installed also earlier this year. So even though I had cleaned and kind of set up earlier, I just had to do it again. That's why there's so much dust here, because I had plastering done when the products were already in here. So everything's a mess. And as you can see, there's like that bent plank over there. So this is a DIY shelf. I'm not sure if I'll be able to find the videos that I shot for this, but I'll try and do a video on how I put this up like together initially. I just used 2 sheets of plywood and then a few planks, and the planks are under 100 rand, and then the plywood is like 600 rand where I live. So I have a lot of oils. I actually realized while I was cleaning the space that I actually have a lot of oils. I should be doing some stock taking right now, but I just don't have the time, child, to have the scale, have the computer out in this dust and just capturing what everything weighs. I don't have the patience, so I'll do that when I make products later in the week or later in the month. Once the bottom was clean, I moved on to unboxing that box you just saw from Isivuno Naturals. That's where I buy most of my oils. and active ingredients. I used to buy from Essentially Naturals also, but they're a little bit more expensive than Isivuno Naturals. And then also I just have to confirm, I think Isivuno Naturals is black owned and female owned, so it's just better for me to spend my money with black women. So I buy most of my raw materials from Isivuno Naturals. But as you can see, it's not just about raw materials. Like, there's a whole process. And the reason that I had to move from home and have a studio and office space set up was because I could no longer keep all of these products in my room. And like, sometimes my equipment or like bowls would get used in the house and then it breaks and then I have to replace it. It just became tedious and strenuous and unorganized to work from home, which is why I've set up the space. But it's taking forever for the space to get going. I think I got overexcited when it got finished, when the roof was finished and everything. I think when it was like the roof and everything, there was a door and a lock, I thought like I was done, and I wasn't. Like this, cleaning up and organizing like this and just seeing it come together like this actually is just the first step. And for me, it's very satisfying that I am able to do this. I can put them on the shelves and see what I have and what I don't have. So here's the final setup. I have like the packaging and shipping stuff in there. I also have bottles, and then in like there's wax sheets also for a soap that I'm planning on making and other stuff. And then in here I've got the big shipping boxes. There's shipping boxes in the other box, but the smaller ones. So yeah, and then I made this like makeshift sliding door, mind you, with ikanzi. So I still have to fix the sliding door because, as you can see, it's like sitting on the floor, which is not great. And then here at the top also, it's just not doing what it's supposed to do. And there's not enough space between the counter and the floor. And yeah, anyway, so that's the next thing that I'm doing, fixing the store. You will saw that I used fishing rod as to hold the mat up earlier, so I decided to use a thicker band or material. I thought about getting those ropes that you buy from the shop, but I was just like, let me use more recycled material. And yeah, so I used the waistband of 3 pairs of jeans. I didn't need all 3. I needed 2.5, I think. So yeah, I'm just like cutting the waistbands off. And initially I thought I could keep like the pockets and have it hang on the rail, the waistband, but I realized I couldn't do that because the pockets would get in the way when I slide the door open and closed. So eventually I did like just remove all of the pockets, and I kept one for the end of the table where I will just like put in spatulas and scissors and stuff like that is easily for it to be easily accessible to me while I'm working in the kitchen. So you can see here is where I tried keeping the pockets. I tried saving as much like band as I could, but eventually I just actually cut the buttons off, and I cut the hole for the buttons off so that I just don't have complications when I sew it together. So next I had to trim ikanzi. I trimmed it with a scissor, and yeah, it's very easy. The only thing is that the top, usually the last line of thread is gone over twice, and if you cut it, you won't have that extra security of your mat not coming apart. But also at the same time, I've got these ropes in between that I use to thread through the jean waistband. You'll see on the other side. So I'm not really worried about the top thread coming off. Yeah, and this is really exhausting on the hands actually. Yeah, and the reason why last time I did it like that, like just haphazardly, was because like my hand was tired, child. So for me, using like ikansi in like somewhere in the house is like a part of real innovation in using it creatively though. Because ikansi has been traditionally been used to sit on, but there's so many things that we can use it for. The strings had come off and I just like put them back and I tied it down like that and cut it. I'll flip it around now and show you how to thread through the denim. So I just threaded the denim through the hoops that I made with the twine, and then I hadn't sewn off two of the, so I just sewed together two of the bands so that it goes further. And yeah, this is a really affordable solution if you have cupboards that are open and you want to keep away from like public and prying eyes. Because ikansi, a meter and a half of ikansi is about 100 rand, or in my town it's 100 rand. So I opted for that. Initially I had thought that I was going to make a rectangular frame with wood and then just cover that with fabric and staple it on the other side, but everybody that I talked to didn't have like a positive response to that. So I just secretly did this and didn't tell anyone, because most people don't have positive stuff to say, and like sometimes they offer solutions that are out of your budget, and if it's not out of your budget, it's out of your interest or desire. So this was the case with me and this Tansi solution. Actually, I had intended to use this Tansi as a ceiling shandies, but I mentioned it to people too quickly and I was discouraged, so I decided to use it for this instead. Yeah, if this is something that you would use in your house, let me know in the comments. If it's not and you think it's ghetto, also let me know in the comments. And it's fine. I think when you are starting something new, something that you know will last forever, sometimes there are like short-term costs that you will pay for long-term gain, if that makes sense. I don't know if that is English, but like this store is one of those things for me. So I'm just now trying to like put it up here. At the bottom I put another plank so that it doesn't necessarily slide on the floor. I still have to find a way to fix that plank to the floor, because it keeps the sliding door on a nice level, and it like just runs smoothly without like hiccuping. It's a bit of a hassle getting it together because it's long, and the fabric, or what is it called, the waistbands that I'm using to kind of get it up are not really strong. They're wide enough to be able to handle the weight of ikansi, but they're not necessarily strong enough for me to pull it taut, like very taut, without it sort of tearing. Anyway, this is the finished look. There's that pocket that I was talking about for my spatula and shit. And now that I've closed that up, we have to clean the countertop. Yes, the way like life is so hectic, it has taken me a couple of days to do this because I have a normal job. So umuntu must wake up and do a few minutes of this, do work, and then before going home, also in the afternoon, do a bit more of this. So that's why it takes me forever to just like process things. And I think I underestimated how much time YouTube would take to sort of like edit and share videos. But also at the same time, I'm not worried because I'm just documenting my process. I'm not really creating content. I'm just documenting my process. Here's more of the mess that I'm trying to sort out. So I used like the last hour of the day to sort of just pack the bottles and tubs and everything. I first had to clean the crates because I no longer have space in the cupboard, and I'll have to find some creative way of like storing this and where I'm going to put it. So I packed the bottles and the tubs. These are just the tubs here. And then I got my next crate ready to pack the bottles. So the 100 ml bottles are a real nuisance, which is why I wanted to introduce the 500 mls. But here we are. So cleaning a crate also takes a long time. These are also just took from home because we have them from the farming work we do. So I have borrowed them temporarily until I can figure something else out. Obviously, long term, this is not my fashion. I'm not like planning on storing stuff in crates, maybe foldable ones or like colorful ones or whatever, but just not these ones. You will see there is in CHOB, which is Uchobazumhlanga, the name of the agricultural cooperative Yasekai. So like I said, like putting in, I don't know, what is it? Placing these 100 ml bottles is a pain. And I'm placing them sideways so that dust doesn't enter. I'll still like wash them when I use them and disinfect them, but for now I'm also like storing them sideways. So I have 4 crates here, and I thought like, I could stack them up like this, use this mat ikansi, the same thing that I used for the sliding door. I thought I could use that and stack all 4 of them and then use that like sort of as a countertop, but it was too high and the mat ikansi was too short, so I cut it. In this video I've cut a piece of it, like two lengths. I don't know how to measure this thing, but I've cut it and now it looks like this. And then I decided I'm going to paint the wooden top and then re-varnish the countertop in the kitchen. I just went over it with thinners or something like that. I don't know if this works or what it does. It just like seemed like the right thing to do in my mind. It seems to dry out the wood a little bit. I don't know, child. I did it though.
Don't ask me how I did it. I just did it. It was hard.
So the next step was to varnish the countertop, and yeah, I don't have the patience to dip and do the whole thing, so I just poured it and distributed it over the counter. By the time I was done here, the board had already dried as well, and I put it over the other crate thing that I just set up on the other side. And yeah, that's me for this episode. It's been over a couple of days. Thank you for watching until this far. I don't usually have videos this long, so I appreciate you. So I don't really have the confidence to ask you to like and subscribe, but please do.